Hi y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I'll show the whole day for a sec here just to show it. But look, so we have the overnight highs here, we have the overnight lows down here. We're in this overnight range, and now at this area here, some may view this entry as, big measured move versus this small measured move. That's not exactly what's going on here because and then they would say go with the bigger measured move, but that's not what's going on because you also have this range here, the overnight highs and lows, and you break out of the overnight highs, that's going to attract prices back to it because naturally price will try to fade when you break a structure or break a range. And so it'll try to fade, and so it's not just big measured move versus small measured move because the small measured move down has the range fade working with it. So it's really just bulls versus bears. The bulls have a big measured move and the bears have a small measured move, but the bears also have a range fade. And so you have to see which is stronger by the entry, which I'll explain right now. And so here you already had the breakout, and then you already have two attempts to fade. So you have first attempt, second attempt to fade, and then you rush above the EMA. So when price is attempting to fade in the form of two attempts, on the second attempt, if it can't get very far without rushing back the opposite way above the EMA, that's the first sign that the fade is failing and that you're likely going to have a successful breakout. And so at this point, you basically have this little downtrend with a break and a new low, and then a rush above the EMA, and then this uptrend right here, the much bigger one, is still in play. So at this point, your measured move, it's still technically in play, but it's clearly having trouble getting there. It couldn't get through the overnight lows. The overnight highs. Barely did, but then it rushed back above. So that's the first sign that the bears are not doing so well. But then you have this uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. So even though that downtrend already has a break and a new low, this uptrend, you can still expect it to have the second attempt at a new high. And so that's what that entry is. It's the second attempt at a new high for this uptrend, and then it's also entering on the failure to fade after two attempts to fade. So that's why I like that trade. And then it kind of screwed with me. I had to wait for this correction because it literally tapped me twice, and neither one of them gave a fill. And then I got kind of worried when it closed below the EMA, but it quickly trapped. Anyway, my intent was to get out before those highs right there. And so anyway, it worked out. We pushed higher here. We kind of was a little bit congestive here, but it ended up forming this. You get this first entry off the key entry point here. So if I draw this uptrend here, right off that body, I want to get it exact right here. So we have this uptrend right here. We have this entry right here. Now, the way that I view this really is it's just a very bearish move down into the highs. You can get out before the very highs, but I just don't like how we bounced right off the highs there. I'll draw it over. We bounced off the highs. We had clear problems with the highs. It was rejecting it once, twice, and then as soon as it was able to break through it, it had a very strong move in the opposite direction. And so if it's rejecting, and then the one time it gets to pierce, it just rushes down, that's telling me that it's likely trying to reverse. And so I didn't want to risk that first entry right there. I just didn't. And then I can see how someone might say, oh, but what if you count it as a failed second entry? That's just, you have two legs up into that high and then a quick flush down. I just don't like any of that. It's way too risky, even if you can kind of see a failed second entry, because you can also see one here, and that one actually, you have room to that high, and it never bounced off of it yet, and then it just goes straight to the high. So that high, I don't like entering into it. It's clearly in play. And then we push higher here. I don't see any good entries in that. You're just closing back below. And here we finally have this, and after it takes off right here, I moved the trend line to it. And then at this point, let me adjust that. You get this right here. You have two legs down right here. I was drawing this, which made me not want to take that, especially because it was able to get below the EMA so easily. It looked like the EMA was holding to the upside, but then it formed this trap, and it trapped down to the key entry point. Considering this trend was clearly, at the time, it wasn't super strong. Eventually, it became a very strong trend. But at the time, it couldn't even reach the upper trend line here. It wasn't able to reach that measured move. It kind of started stalling, and then it had the second entry with this downtrend, and then it gave that trap to the short side, and then it didn't. And then it kind of closed down even more on that bar. So I just didn't want to enter into that. And then it clearly reacted off of it right there, but it did end up pushing through. And so out of all the trades in this area, I think the best one is this, which I still didn't take this because it felt very strange because it was very choppy into the highs, and those were completely flat, and then it also made a double top with that. It's like there were just so many things that were sketchy with it that I did not want to enter into those highs, and then it was getting choppy around here, so I didn't like it. And then also with a failed second entry, even though you were already above the EMA on that entry, it clearly was trying to reverse down here. It was just at the time, the up channel was weak. We were trying to reverse, and then we got like a weak looking failed second entry that's into those highs there. I don't know why I just deleted that. If y'all have been watching my videos enough, y'all know I have a terrible habit of deleting stuff for no reason. So yeah, I'm gonna remove that risk to reward tool because I don't like that trade. But then we do push higher. We get a little two-legged correction. It has a double top. You can tell it, pushed higher, 2 legs down, and then it took off. There's no good signal bar. I mean, right here, you kind of do. It's just in a sketchy area. You're into that trend line. You don't have room to the highs. It's not a perfect entry, even though you have a second entry. I don't like it. But we pushed higher here. Eventually, after this started taking off, I did extend that again. And then it fit well off that and that. And so we're in this uptrend. And then here you have first entry long, second entry long. It closed below the EMA. I didn't want to enter above because at the time this range was like this. You would have had to go into it. It's entering into resistance. That's also into the very highs of the day. I did not like any of that. But then finally we got something that looks better. 2 pushes down, and then it's funny I said finally. I actually was not even at my desk for this. I was downstairs making breakfast late, and then I came back, and because I left a little bit before we got this, it started breaking out, and then I came back and it was all the way up here. But 2 legs down. They're measured legs. They clearly started forming resistance there. And now I only like it after it closes above the EMA because it's just, we have these 2 legs up now. The bigger measured move was completed, and so it could do a big reversal. So, 2 legs up, reversal back down to the range. And so that's what I was afraid was going to happen, and so I didn't want to enter long, or looking back, I would not want to enter long into the EMA, into the resistance, while it's very choppy, while I'm expecting a possible reversal. And so it overshot, and so I wasn't really scared of that trend line, really. It was mainly just the channel lows in the EMA, so we closed above both of that. And then, that looks good. I don't like the way that entering on there looks, but if you entered on that, if you managed to get on that, then I think that's good. I wish I could have joined you in that. And then I liked going to this high because even though it started with this high, it's not like it was consistent anywhere else. So I didn't have a problem pushing it to that swing right there. Or I wouldn't have a problem, excuse me. I did not take this trade. Let me separate the ones. So I took that loss, and this winner right after. It was basically just a break-even area. But this trade I missed. I missed it, unfortunately. This one I got. So yeah, I want to talk to you about this loss. It's so dumb. It's just when I took this loss right after, I just couldn't believe myself. Because the only reason that I feel, I can't say the only reason, I feel like the reason I took this loss is because it was a slow day, and then I missed that, and so then I kind of forced a trade there. So let me explain it. We have this push up, 2 legs up here. It's clearly attempting to make the second leg. I didn't consider that because I kind of just quickly looked at it. But we were expecting this measured move to play out. Okay. And then it rushed above the EMA. Okay. Which is the sign that measured move is probably going to play out. And then I got this entry, and I don't know how I convinced myself. It was just impulsive, and, second entry off those highs, not considering the fact that it could, even though we just could have gotten a reversal after those 2 legs, we're still pushing higher, which, even though we have those 2 legs, that did form one trend here, and so you can expect that to play out as well. And so that's another reason I did not do well in that short. But it's really just, I had a measured move in play, this uptrend was playing out, rushed above the EMA. There is no way that does not even look good. There's no way. The measured move would be too strong. It's rushing above the EMA like that. That's like the opposite of over here, basically, because it's like it would be like having 2 legs down, not measured, and then me going short right there. That's basically what I just did, right there. So anyway, I was waiting for myself to get stopped out as I saw it going up to it, realizing how dumb I was. I waited for myself to get stopped out and immediately reverted to long, and just wanted to get out at that high. I wanted to be safe. All I wanted to do is make up that loss really quick and just get out at that high. I didn't want to push it anywhere, but I was just taking the inverse. The measured move here was in play. I realized that I was entering on something that is probably going to be that I was clearly failing. I entered into a failure, and then I was taking the failure that the failure of what I took. And so that pushed higher there, and yeah, first entry short, second entry short, failure. Obviously this second leg higher here is not the same length as this one, but we're expecting to complete that one. And then as soon as we reach that measured move, we just turn down. It's just amazing price action. Anyway, so let's keep getting through this. We push higher here. At this point, it's getting choppy. I wouldn't, if you didn't enter on that, I would not want to enter on this. Maybe it'd be okay to enter with a limit order on this. That'd be totally fine, but I wouldn't want to try to push it beyond that high, really. Because we did just reach a major measured move, so you should have some concern about buying high, so especially when it's choppier like that. And so anyway, we have this first entry right here. We push higher. I say first entry. You can see first entry, second entry to the tick. That's really just one push down, the way I view it. First entry, we don't get anything, closes below the EMA. We push higher, then finally we rush below the EMA. We get this lower high. That's not enough to go short because it's so strong and it's just holding. It just keeps holding and holding. And that's a lower high is not a reversal pattern. A reversal pattern, the way that I define it, is a failed second entry at an area that you can expect a reversal. And this is an area that we could expect a reversal, being this uptrend with 2 legs at a new high and then a rush below. That's a perfect area for a reversal. But for it to be a reversal pattern, it needs to be a failed second entry. Lower high is not good enough. It does look like you get 1-to-1 on that. We revert back higher again. We have this higher low. Once again, that's really just not enough. A higher low. Even though that measure move is still in play, we did just rush below the EMA, and then the higher low, it's also kind of closing below, and so it's just not good enough. But we push higher here. We almost reached the measured move. We turned down. It ends up just being a 2-legged move to that measured move. And so this is something that happens all the time. So you'll see that I got my measured move target from, right here. It's just as soon as we had the break of this up move and then we started taking off here, you can put it there, and that's where I got my target. But it's very common for it to actually retest the second leg, initial second leg level, and then notice this leg right here. It's the exact length. It just retested it and then did it all in one leg. That's very common. So I just thought I'd point that out. That's something that happens all the time. finally, after we reach this measured move, the uptrend break, measured move to a new high, then we actually have a more significant reversal. We rush through the EMA. It's so strong it doesn't even form a reversal pattern. It just plummets 2 legs down. Can't even reach the EMA again and again. And then finally we start bottoming out again. We push into the EMA. You can get first entry short, second entry short. I just see that as 1 leg up though. But there's no short entries. You're chopping back and forth above. And so we push lower here. We start getting congested. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I didn't trade for quite a lot of this stuff in here. I did not trade. I actually was gone. I think it was like 12:45. I stopped trading. I had to go do something. I had to leave. And then I got back and basically immediately started the video. And that's actually why I missed one of my hourly posts that I was supposed to do, because I had to do something urgent. I couldn't attend to the site. But anyway, so we push lower here. It's getting kind of choppy, and looks like we had that breakout pullback. It's not clear. It's extremely choppy. There's no way you're going to take anything in that. It looks like hell. But you do rush above, you break out, pull back, it does push higher, and then that's where we are right now. So, yeah, that's really it for the day. There was something I was going to say. I intended to say it before I started the video. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's going to be it. And, oh yeah, that's right. Something about Discord. See, I'm not starting a Discord or anything, but one of the site members, Benji is gone. He made a Discord for the site members. So if you're in the site, like, there's a Discord you can join. You probably already know about it if you're in there. But I might create an official one. I don't plan on it, but because I don't really mind Benji kind of running the Discord. So it's like, and I'm not really in there that often. I've gone in there a few times. It's just, I like to do the chart posts and stuff, but, I wasn't even sure what Discord really was until Benji made one for the website people. And like I really didn't, because I knew people had requested it before, but I didn't know what the hell it was. I knew that it was like some kind of chat service. That's really all I knew. But then I realized, it's kind of like a live chat, like an endless live chat with people in there that join, and then you can like post things. And it's convenient. I do like, the website format though. But I absolutely understand why some folks would like Discord, but I'm not really in there all that often. Like, I wasn't in there today. Because I'm just on the site throughout the day. But yeah, so that's going to be it. I just thought I'd talk about the Discord for a little bit. I might start one, is the thing, just so that way it's like an official one. Of course, I don't mind Benji's Discord. I love the fact he made it. But it just got me thinking, I could make an official one. And then it would just be free to access for anyone who's already in the site. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that tonight. Maybe I'll make one. I'm not sure. I'll probably just let Benji keep running that one. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.